Good
All
morning,
right.
all you beautiful. Oh, you're. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
That's all right. Go ahead. Start us off.
I was just gonna say good morning, all you beautiful people. Welcome to the second week of the Sunny Days Media Football Show. I'll give the floor to my friend, my friend Pask on that side. Jesus Christ, we're off to a slow start.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in, for watching this after. Much appreciated. We are live again on a Sunday morning talking some week 2 action. Before we get into the action, I want to give a shout out and thank you to my boy Derek Oakrey. This is his shirt, drinking the Detroit Kool-Aid. Derek, hope you're feeling better, man. Love hearing you on the Kool-Aid cast. And let's go Lions. All right, boys. Week 2 starts on Thursdays. Eagles beat the Eagles beat the Vikings. I don't know if they covered the spread. I don't think they did. The game may have looked close in the end, but it never really felt that close. Facino, were you watching that?
Yeah, I was rooting heavily against Kirk Cousins, as I will be doing for the rest of the next, I guess, 5-6 weeks until the trade deadline.
Mm.
Yeah, but they have no defense. The Eagles are just a better team. They don't have to play their best game to beat the Vikings. Vikings have to play their best game to beat the Eagles. And pretty much what I expected to happen happened, Same old song and dance.
Kirk looked good though. Kirk did not look like he didn't look great. Like his stat line, I think, was a little deceiving because beginning of the game he looked like hot garbage. But like over because everybody's like, oh, no pick. Okay, yeah, but he did fumble like when the game was close in the beginning, and a fumble is as bad as a pick, right? And it was like on a snap.
Worse. Fumble's worse. Nothing. You can't fumble the ball as a quarterback. You can't do it.
Listen, I'm a Vikings truther. I'm always going to be a Vikings truther. I'm going to be a believer. And I don't know who's watching right now. I have a lot of friends out there who say the latter, and they hate Kirk and the Vikings. I think Kirk's a good quarterback. I don't know if that's just because the documentary on Netflix made me believe. I don't know if I just seen him do wonderful things when he needs to do it. I know their whole, primetime Kirk Cousins and under the bright lights, he usually tends to turtle and whatever. But I think they're going to turn it around. And it's tough to play like shit the entire season when you have the best wide receiver in the NFL on your team and you're a serviceable quarterback. Not to mention they have TJ Hawkinson. I know it's a sore subject for you, Pass, but he's also a very valuable piece of that offense. I think you're going to turn it around. I think it's going to be okay. The first week loss was inexcusable. Thursday Night Football's loss, that's a little more understandable. The Super Bowl runner-up, it's a better team. Like Ant was saying, that's going to happen 9 times out of 10. But I think we should be on the lookout for them. I wouldn't count them out just yet.
I think their defense is so fraudulent. So fraudulent. They are awful on defense. Like the amount of text messages I got about DeAndre Swift that night. Like, oh, you guys are so stupid. How did you let this guy walk out the door? Listen, like nobody in little mic problem there. Nobody in Detroit had a problem with DeAndre Swift. Like DeAndre is supremely talented. Everybody knows that. Great two-way back. Guy can catch the ball. Guy can run the ball. DeAndre had one major problem in Detroit. Look at his games played. The guy was always hurt. And I understand that like running back is a physical position and you're going to get hurt playing it. I mean, Casino, you could speak to that, right? Playing fullback all those years, but like
didn't end well.
No, it didn't. It didn't. Those goddamn Limbrook Owls, right?
Yeah.
No, like I love DeAndre, but the guy couldn't stay on the field for us. Like it's as simple as that. And when he was on the field, I mean, why do you think Jamal Williams had 17 touchdowns last year? Why do you think Jamal Williams was the number 1 back for us? Wasn't because he was better. He in no world was he better than DeAndre Swift. DeAndre not only couldn't stay on the field, but the times that this line opened up holes for him, he wouldn't hit it. And like, I mean, when you have the number 3 offensive line in front of you blocking, like there's when there's a hole big enough for a golf cart to drive through, there's no excuse. There just isn't. And to fall out of favor with this coaching staff, like that's kind of a tough thing to do too, because Campbell and Ben Johnson, like they really let these guys be themselves. You know what I mean? Like there's typically no personality issues in Detroit. Like if you fall out of favor with that coaching staff, that's a problem. So
listen, going off of that, anybody out there who has him in the fantasy realm, myself included, do not fall for this. Look what he did week 1, and then look what he did week 2. Week 2, kind of an admiration here. I don't think this is going to be the norm. I think they have a lot of weapons. You saw with AJ Brown and Jalen Hurts, there's a little bit of a controversy there. I think that's going to get resolved for going into week 3. I think you're going to see a lot more air raid stuff coming out of that way. And what's it called? I just don't think it's going to put up 175 weekly. So don't get used to that.
Our buddy Chris says how the Eagles can filter out talent via trade while wavering without their cap space is annoying. Yeah, that I understand that. I feel like I saw that a lot through the years with Green Bay dealing with Rodgers, how they would have these like awful drafts. And like they would get like some decent linebacker in the second every year. But like Rodgers would just make up for that. You almost feel like that's what's kind of, well, the difference is that Philly could draft, but like as long as Jalen Hurts is there, he's going to be a problem. He's going to be a problem for the rest of the NFC East.
Yeah, they do it the right way. They add interior line. They have all pros on the edges, and then when you talk about the defensive line, that's like a dream. You know, if you can get 8 or 9 guys that can pressure the quarterback, that it's almost as important as having a quarterback. And the Eagles they're so well built. They'll be in the playoffs again.
I think they'll be the number 1 seed again. I mean, I don't think they're as good as where they were last year, but like it's also week 2. It's week 2 and they're 2-0 and they still look real good. So who knows? But that team last year was like really special, really, really special. If Jalen Hurts wasn't walking into that Super Bowl like pretty hurt, I think I think they definitely could have won that game. All right.
I disagree.
So you disagree?
Oh yeah. No, I'm so high on Mahomes. Call it the quarterback from Netflix effect. I don't know what it is, but I think Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback of a generation, and I don't think he's losing that game.
He just doesn't lose those games, does he?
Yep,
it's amazing.
Exactly. And we'll get into that later. I think that kind of plays a part here. I know. Listen. We'll talk about that in a little bit. It's coming up. Let's go. Move on.
Oh boy, a little feisty.
I'm sorry.
All right.
I'm hopped up on coffee right now.
All right. Week 1, Facino. Let's start with you. Your boys.
Go right into it.
Jaguars, Chiefs.
Yep, we're just talking about Mahomes. We're going to talk about him again. The Jaguars lost the championship game in 2017 to the Patriots. I thought it was poorly refereed, but whatever. You move on, and the following year they were, I think, 1-0 or 2-0, and Tom Brady went down and they beat the Patriots, and then they went on to win 5 games. So I think that if there's a time to beat a team like the Chiefs, it's early in the season. And up until about 3-4 days ago, I thought that the Jaguars were going to beat the Chiefs, and then they signed Chris Jones, and then Travis Kelce's coming back, and then you got to remember Pat Mahomes never ever loses back-to-back games. I don't know the stats. I would go out on a limb here and say I don't think he's ever lost back-to-back games. So that makes me nervous, for the Jaguars. I'm not I'm definitely a little nervous about that. And I think Trevor Lawrence is going to score points because he's a good quarterback. But Jerry, like you said, if you give the ball to Mahomes, with 2 minutes left, he's going to go down and score a touchdown, and he always keeps it close. So,
and that's what I think it comes down to here. Like, I want to like the Jags here. I love the Jags last week. I think the Jags are going to have a hell of a season here. But when you go against a powerhouse like Kansas City, even though we saw what happened on Thursday Night Football, I don't want to sit here and call it kind of a fluke win for the Lions because it wasn't. The Lions earned that. But this is the goddamn Kansas City Chiefs, and we all know how we've seen it happen before in the past with slow starts for them. Call it a Super Bowl hangover, call it what you will, but the ship will be corrected in, 2-3 weeks. I think this game is close. I think the Chiefs cover the what is it now? 4.5 or 3.5?
3.5.
It's 3.5. Yeah, I think the Chiefs definitely cover that. I think the Chiefs will run away with this at least by a touchdown, I would say. But I think we're going to get a good game here. I think it's going to be a great, especially with Kelce back and what the Jags can do. I'm excited to watch this game. I don't think I'm going to watch Red Zone today because I believe this is a 1:00 game on CBS, and then the Jets are 4:00 on CBS. So I think I'm just going to watch these two games straight up.
We don't get this game.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a shame. It's like 75% of the country sees it, but we don't see it in New York.
What's the 1 o'clock CBS game?
I believe it is probably Ravens Bengals, if I had to guess, or Bills Raiders.
That's a good fucking game too.
Could be Bills Raiders too. I don't want to turn my TV on.
We're probably gonna get the Bills game.
Yeah.
I would pull up my TV and see, but for some reason my router's fucked, so I can't see what's on any channel right now. I could see the TV like I can't, like the info button, like I can't see like what's on now, what's on at 3. So shout out to our boy Chris from Wisconsin.
It is going to be Buffalo Bills.
Chris, CPMI Sports says he gets. What'd you just say, Facino?
It's Buffalo Ravens.
Yeah, it's typically we usually get up here. We usually get Jerry. Actually, you might even be different because you're
we get a lot of Patriots bias here. It's split, and it sucks too because the 1 o'clock, that CBS like window is often shared with the Jets and the Jets and the Patriots. And here, for whatever reason, even though I'm still like in technically Southern Connecticut, not like past we'll call it the Mendoza line where the Patriots fans start to go into effect. It's always Patriots, and it sucks. I hate it so much, but it is what it is.
This is our buddy Chris, CPMI Sports. We do the shows with him on Thursday. Chris is in the DMV area, so yeah, that would make sense getting Ravens Bengals CBS at 1. I would recommend YouTube TV if you could. If you got someone that that's in college, you can get it at 120 for the season. So something to think about.
It's amazing too. How much better is it than the?
Oh, dude, so much better than DirecTV.
I haven't used it yet, but I refuse to believe that. I think sports belong nowhere on streaming. I think sports should be watched on analog television.
Listen,
I thought that until Sunday.
But then if you're a fan of the out of market, Jerry, how are you tuning in?
I have my ways that I refuse to say out loud and put it into the ether.
I would also say this: they're cracking down on that big time this year. YouTube is investing a ton of money in getting rid of that. Like DirecTV never touched the illegal whatever streams. YouTube is investing heavily in getting rid of those. So it was a big investment for them to take over the Sunday ticket. But like honestly, and if you have Verizon, you do still get Red Zone. I realized that. What's it called? Last Sunday.
Week.
Yeah, that I put on the Red Zone channel and I had it again because it doesn't show up on my bill until like the September whatever. So
yeah.
Just to kind of close out the Jaguars Chiefs talk. It is good that Jones. It is good for the Chiefs that Jones and Kelsey are back today, but like, Jones hasn't been in camp. Right, like
I don't think he's gonna do much. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like I said, he hasn't wore pads in what? 4 months.
So like exactly.
It's a tough matchup though because the Jaguars don't have. They might not have Scherf and their center. His weakness is power. Like he's a smart dude, but he's not blocking Chris Jones. Unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean it's Chris is going to be a factor, no doubt. But like we said before, the guy hasn't put on pads yet. And Kelsey too. I mean, Kelsey's back, but like probably in a limited capacity. Like you're not going to get full blown Travis Kelsey. And I agree with you, Jerry. Not a fluke win, but like, yeah, there were clearly guys missing on the Chiefs side of the ball. That being said, that whole team did not look, and also it's week 1, right? I get it.
Yeah.
But like they just didn't. And maybe it's a combination of like the Lions are just a better team now with the talent, but like they just didn't feel and look like the Chiefs that we're used to seeing. And could just be the week 1 effect, right? Could just be Thursday, week 1. But like there were a lot of deficiencies in that game, right? And like there's no way that right tackle, Facino, is going to get away with doing what he did against us. Because the NFL already sent out a memo this week. I don't know if you saw that. The NFL sent out a memo to all 32 teams that lining up off sides and jumping early, that's not happening. It's not supposed to happen anymore. The NFL sent out a memo that they're going to be cracking down on it and start disciplining it now. So like, listen, I'm rooting for the Jags. I took a beating yesterday on Colorado, so probably won't be betting the Jags, but I'm rooting for them.
Well, great game though. Great game.
Not if you had money on
I
Colorado.
went to bed so early. I turned it on. I fell asleep like after the first drive. I think I was just like, I'm not doing this. I'm sorry. And to anybody out there bitching about how could this be a 10 o'clock start? Blah, blah, blah. We're on the East Coast. I understand. We reign supreme. We think the world revolves around us, and it does. It does to an extent. But for them, that's a primetime game. That's a 7 o'clock game in Colorado. We can't be mad about that. That's a big time under the lights game, and it is what it is. It's 10 o'clock,
and it's a Saturday night.
Well,
and it's a Saturday night. Like, drink your coffee, like drink a Red Bull, and like power through it, man. I don't know. Like, I work on a construction site 6 days a week. Like, if I can make it through, the late slate, if I need to, like, you can too. We all can.
Yeah, if I was 3 years younger and I was out of the bar, I'm watching every snap of that game.
Right.
And to be honest, like, if I had money on that, I'm watching every snap of that game. But I was just, I don't know. I went to bed.
I had money. I had money and I
Yeah.
went to bed. I knew damn well.
I never go to bed with money on the board. Never go to bed with money on the board. No way.
You'd be surprised how packed the bars were last night. I stayed till the end of the game. I went to this like hole in the wall bar, which is actually just a regular bar. But I didn't even think they had the game. Huh?
Is it in Levittown?
Yeah, it's called Mr. Beery's.
Oh, I was gonna say, is it One-Eyed Jacks?
Oh, that sounds like a dive and a half.
Oh, it's a dive, and they had the game, and every person in the bar was watching the TV. It was like the only reason anyone stayed awake past 1 was for that game.
It was a big game.
And
it was awesome.
Dion knows how to market himself, knows how to market his program.
This is nothing new. And I know, like, I didn't,
No,
granted,
of course not.
I was young and, like, dying get to see Prime in his prime, but, like, this is how Deion Sanders fucking operates. He did the same shit when he was flying helicopters from Falcon games to Brave games, winning World Series with the Yankees, doing all this shit. This is fucking Deion Sanders doing what Deion Sanders does. And everyone's all getting bent out of shape about this, that, and the other thing. Oh, it's personal. Oh, he needs to shut up. Oh, he's too cocky. No, he's fucking being Deion Sanders. Plain and simple.
Not only that,
it's great.
He's made it so that, like, he's such a great coach, but he brought his son from, I don't know what, he was a 3-star recruit, I think. And then he went to Jackson State, and it's like, people are thinking, well, he had Alabama wants him, LSU wants him. He could have went to a lot of different schools, but he went to Jackson State, and then he went to Colorado, and nobody before the season was thinking, oh, Shedeur Sanders is going to be like a high draft pick. But people forget, like, Deion really is that guy. Deion's been teaching that.
I was saying this to Pass before you jumped on. I don't think Shedeur Sanders is going to make it in the NFL. And I might eat crow on this take. I don't know what the deal is going to be. But I think I see him being an elite college quarterback, much akin to Marcus Mariota type deal, where he's just phenomenal and, torching people on Saturdays. And then he gets under the big lights on Sundays and he just doesn't have it. I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, if he switches positions. Because he's fast, he's skinny, he's tall. He could be a receiver. I just don't think he's going to make it as a quarterback. I hope I do. I hope I do. He's one of the what? That he's prime son?
No. He has the ability. He has incredible pocket awareness. That's all that. I don't even care if you can throw the ball in college anymore. Can you evade a pass rush? Because nobody can block. Over the last 15 years, it doesn't even, like, everyone's nervous about their O-line. Everyone thinks they have a great D-line. Come game day, everybody's quarterback's running for their life. What I see in Pat Mahomes when he drops back from the first game he ever played, he sits back, he shuffles to the right, moves to the left. The guard's getting beat inside. He moves outside. He already knows that's happening. So I feel like Shedeur Sanders, what I've seen most from him is that he's super calm in the pocket. He knows where to move in the pocket. And then he sets his feet. It's like, wow. Like, I can't believe that this guy's able to do, like, he's able to do that, because you'd think that he'd be this running quarterback. You'd think that he's a guy that's going to be scrambling on first down, like trying to make the play. But, like, he sits back and he makes the throw. So we'll see. I mean, I think obviously you need coaching for him, but
he threads the needle real well. Like he does. He throws a really pretty ball. Hello to Larry Chiafalo. Is that Pops?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Hello.
Honestly, after that game, like, not to take anything. Oh, all right. So I had a good. I have a good story for Dion with the Giants. Oh, I'm echoing here. You guys hear that?
It was, yeah. Yeah, I got that.
Oh, we're all echoing here. That's concerning. Dion with the Giants. I'm gonna just take these. Oh no. Okay, I was gonna take the headphones off. I kept echoing. Dion with the Giants. So when Dion was getting drafted, when Dion was at the combine. He's going through the combine and he's going through his workouts and all the interviews with teams, and he walks into the room with the Giants. And I don't know if Parcells was there at this time, but Dion walks into the room, and they take out this book. They take out this book that's like this big, and they put it down in front of him. And Dion's like, "What is this?" And they're like, "Oh, that's our test that we give to all the potential prospects that we want to draft." And Dion looks up at them and he's like, "What pick you guys have?" And I think they told whatever it was, 9 or 10. He's like, "Yeah, you guys aren't going to make it to me." Slides the book back to them and walks out of the room. So, like, this is a guy from a very young age that just knew what he was, like, knew his value, knew his worth, knew how to market, knew how to like grab both sides of the coin. People that were going to be like mesmerized by it, and people that were going to absolutely hate it. And no matter what, whether you like Dion or you don't, you're tuning in. You're tuning in to either root against him or root for him.
So, it's the professional wrestling effect. Plain and simple. The guy's a fucking WWE superstar.
Yeah. He could make it in the WWE.
You'd be surprised who's rooting against him. It's like everybody. I'm very surprised how many people don't want him to succeed.
Well, I think people don't like a loud coach like that. Like it's similar to like Rex Ryan in the NFL. Like,
shut up and play football. It's that mentality, straight up.
Yeah,
it's shut up and play football.
Yeah, like a lot of people didn't like Rex for all the shit he would talk, and whether he was doing it because he liked the attention or he was doing it to take the attention off of certain guys, like a young Mark Sanchez or whatever. Like, it did work. It did work because people were tuning into Jets games to either watch Rex lose or go crazy for Rex. Now that we're talking about the Jets, let's move into the next game here. Jets Dallas. What do we think?
Okay. All right. Listen, I got to get my piece. So what happened obviously happened. We pulled out a miracle win. And while everyone's here, I'm going to take this time to apologize to Sunny Days faithful. I promised the blog about Rodgers and moving forward to the quarterback situation. I did not write it. I apologize. It's on me. That being said, Zach Wilson is our guy. And I know, we know how this plays out. We've seen it happen with him before, and we have our reasons to not trust him. But as we saw last Monday, sure, that one bad interception, that put a bad taste in my mouth, and I immediately said, here we go again. Not the case, I don't think, because then if you watch later on, him threading the needle to Garrett Wilson for that tying touchdown, that was absolutely big. And, Dad, to answer your question, it's still in China. It's on its way. It should be here next week, hopefully. So I think having Rodgers in camp is rubbing off on him. I think it's going to be great, as we all saw in the media all week long. Rodgers is kind of going to be in his ear. Once he's able to get on the sideline, he's going to be on the sideline with the headset. And I think we're going to see Zach Wilson matured. I think we're going to see him making decisions that he normally would not make and play correctly. And I think he's going to really utilize all the weapons he has around him. That being said, I think we're really, really going to attack it on the ground this week. And we're going to see Cook and Hall really fucking ram it down their throats. And I also want to just really quick speak on the fact of the O-line. If we had a better O-line, Aaron Rodgers would still be our quarterback. They're the reason why he fucking tore his Achilles. He got 2 sacks that were inexcusable in my opinion. And then you watch the entire time, that Zach Wilson interception that put a bad taste in my mouth was a product of the offensive line and how bad they are because he didn't have any fucking time to throw the ball. You got to give this guy time to throw the ball so he can make the correct decision. He will make the correct decision because he knows what to do, but you need to let him make the decision that needs to be right. And he needs time. He hasn't been getting time, and I don't know. But I will say this: I don't think the fucking Cowboys are good. I think everyone's all high and mighty on the Cowboys, and we'll get to the Giants in a little bit. I don't want to shit all over the Giants because I love my brothers at MetLife, but like, I just think the Giants got lucky last week playing a somewhat not ready Giants team on Sunday Night Football for the world to see, and they beat them. They beat them big and they beat them good, which is good for Dallas. But I don't think Dallas is good. If you look at the box score, they had what, one, maybe two offensive touchdowns. Dak Prescott fucking sucks. Dak Prescott is horrible. CeeDee Lamb is a good wide receiver, but he doesn't, in my opinion, for the years watching him, he's always been a favorite of mine at fantasy, but he's never produced the way he should be. And as a number one, all eyes are going to be on him. So he's going to be locked down by Sauce. So there's that. He's out of the equation. Brandon Cooks might be hurt pretty badly. He didn't practice this week. And then you got Pollard, who's decent, and then you got who's the other receiver that they have? Gallup. Yeah, Gallup was also pretty decent. I really don't think the Cowboys are that good of a football team. I don't. And I think everyone's writing off the Jets for basically what happened last week, and rightfully so. I understand where they're coming from, but this team is hungry. It's different. It's kind of like the Lions last year, just with a little more expectations behind them, where like now, especially now, we're playing with a chip on our shoulders because we don't have a quarterback, and the entire world is saying, fuck the Jets. They're done. They're going to be in the top 10 draft picks. It's going to be a mess. It's going to be this. It's going to be that. I disagree. I really think we're going to see the Jets come out here today hungry. And again, I might be eating these words come 8 o'clock at night, but like, I don't know. I think this game's a lot closer than we think. The Jets are getting 8.5 points. It's a shit ton of points. I would hammer that. It's not my lock because it's as big of a fan I am, it's still uncertain. I'm just going to watch this game purely for entertainment. But I don't write them off, man. Just don't write them off. We'll see in a couple of weeks because the schedule's really tough to come. But I don't know.
Yeah, it's got to be the most cursed franchise. And I know, obviously the Lions, you could talk about the Lions, you could talk about the Browns, you could go to other fan bases and talk about.
Want to talk about curses, man? I got a Bobby Lane jersey up there. You want to talk about curses?
I understand. And I challenge anybody to find a moment in sports history that really truly was as devastating there was hype. Like, there was so much hype and then there was so much devastation. And I don't really remember a time when I've ever felt like that, or ever seen that for other teams. So having that with the Jets, never having a quarterback ever, even with Namath, he was throwing it to the other team half the time. To finally have a quarterback that could throw for 4,000 yards. And then you do the math on Zach Wilson, and it's like, this dude's going to throw for 2,700 yards this year in a 17-game season if he keeps it up. That doesn't make me happy. And I think it's so early in the season that I'm actually one of those delusional people that thinks Rodgers will come back in January. I think he's a psychopath.
I don't want him to. I don't want him to. I think he can, but I don't want him to. Because if we get to fucking January, something's going right with this team that if he steps in, the chemistry is going to be all thrown off. I'm sure he's Aaron Rodgers and he can do whatever he wants and adapt and overcome. Yeah. But at that point, you kind of got to ask him all right, we get it, you're good, and we would love to have you, but sit this one out and come back in September and call it a day. Coach from the should play if we make the playoffs.
Yeah, the thing is, I don't really. We could pump all the hopium we want into Zach Wilson, but you're going to get to week 10 and you're going to see who you have. And he's probably going to be the guy that we've had for the last 2 years. So who is Zach Wilson today? Is he different than a year ago? And how do I know that he's any different after one game? I got to see what he does today. I got to see what he does next week against Bill Belichick. And those 2 games are the most important games on the schedule. Because if you have a quarterback, if he plays well, awesome. Roll with him the rest of the season. If not, Kirk Cousins and the Vikings, if you trade a first-round pick for him, you're going to get a third-round compensatory back when he leaves. So you're basically swapping a first for a third for a chance because it would cost you $500,000 a game. If you do it week 7, you got let's say 10 games that he's on your team for.
They've got the money
$5 million. They got the money. They have the pick back, and they have the squad. But now it is really in Zach Wilson's hands. Zach Wilson controls his own destiny, and I can't believe I'm saying that because as a Jets fan, even as a Jets coach, as the Jets owner, as the GM, as the person that's pulling the freaking beer lever in the stadium, everybody thought that was the last they were ever going to see of Zach Wilson in that Jaguar game. And it's just a shame. It's a true shame that we're watching him again. And I'm rooting for him, but it's really a crying shame. We don't deserve this.
I was there. That was tough. In the fucking rain. That wasn't a good time.
No.
But I don't know.
Go Jets, though. I think the Jets are going to pull it out.
Yeah, me too. I think this game, as important as it is, give it a second. And like whatever happens today. I think next week is a tell-all. I think we pull out today, by the skin of our teeth, like we pulled out Monday Night Football. Awesome, but we go into next week against the Pats, and if he can come in and fucking beat the Pats, something he hasn't been able to do yet, I think that we're in a new era of Zach Wilson. I think Zach has matured. I think he's turned the page. I think we're watching someone who's no longer seeing ghosts. I know that's Darnold, but not Zach, but whatever. Same concept. And I think that's really, again, the Aaron Rodgers effect. Because I watched Hard Knocks, and again, I drank the Kool-Aid, but I think I have hope. Just plain and simple. Call me dumb, call me what you will, but I have hope.
Larry Chiafalo's got hope too.
Oh, I know.
I want to leave
we're excited.
I want to leave the Jets with one thing, and it's really just it's a classic Jet storyline. The whole offseason was Rodgers this, Rodgers that, O-line this, O-line that. And you know who was written off the whole year? Mekhi Becton. And all of a sudden, your quarterback's gone, and you have Zach Wilson, and he wasn't able to play right tackle. His knee was going to blow up, this, that, the next thing. Well, guess what? Your entire season now is riding on running the ball behind Mekhi Becton. He's become your most important player, and I love it because he deserves it, and he's been working so damn hard. So I want to see that guy get to the Pro Bowl this year.
He looked great last week. I don't know if you saw that the all 22 of him making that combo block on the two on one of the runs. He looked fantastic. And this was one storyline I'm pissed Hard Knocks didn't talk about with the offensive line and Mekhi Becton's comeback and how midway through camp he broke into the first team and got the reps, got his spot and fucking security. Because now I think, like you were saying, I think he's really going to hold it down. And he's the one shining star on this lacking offensive line that I think we have the power to. But the only thing is we can't run the ball to Mekhi Becton every single time because they're going to catch on and just heavy up on the right side. So we got to be kind of careful with that. But there's ways around it. And I think as long as he stands strong, we'll be fine. Something
that I hope for after watching that all unfold on Monday Night Football, I think about it because it brings me back to a feeling when I played as an offensive lineman. When if you're Dwayne Brown, this has to be the lowest he's ever felt in his life, in terms of playing, right? That was his guy. Ran right through him and ended a lot of Jets' hope. And I'm not saying that the season's over. I'm just it put a dent in your hopes as a fan base, as it put a dent in that locker room. And as much as Rodgers could pat him on the back and be like, dude, it happens. It is what it is. As much as everyone can try to so I'm sure everyone's trying to pick up Zach Wilson, right? And you see that on Twitter. You see that in a lot of anything you see Jets related. But someone needs to be checking in on Dwayne Brown. Someone needs to be making sure that guy's all right, because he's a professional, right? He's been in this league for a long time. He's been a top tier left tackle in the NFL for over a decade. But that the gravity of that on his shoulders, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. If that was me, I probably would have started bawling right there. I don't know what I would do.
It's a tough spot to be in because honestly, when you cut block, that quarterback's got to get rid of the ball in 2 steps. And that's the reason that they run those plays is because they want him to develop, get into a rhythm. Get into a rhythm, Aaron. And I think that he must have saw something behind Wilson where he was like, oh, Lazard might pop open over the top here. Let me try to take a shot. But sometimes when those plays are called, and he'll tell you too, that play was called. He has to get the ball out, and he just didn't.
But why are we cut blocking on like a
Yeah.
on a play action? Like,
Shouldn't be.
why? Because exactly your fear just came true. The DN pushed him down and just bolted for Rodgers. He had a running start on Aaron Rodgers. Like, why are you calling that? I'm not an offensive guru, but like that just doesn't make sense to me. And
especially in the first 15 scripted plays.
I'm not. Yeah, exactly. I'm not throwing all this blame on Dwayne Brown. I'm just saying, like, the magnitude of that was his guy that came through. Like, what I'm saying is, I hope from here on out, I hope that's out of his head, and I hope he's kind of tunnel vision rest of the way. Because if anyone really needs him to block, it's Zach Wilson. Like, and then I guess that kind of brings me to the question of like, what do we think about Buffalo? Like, is Buffalo for like Super Bowl, right? But like, hey, is Buffalo still like the front runner to win this division? Because I honestly don't think so. I really don't think so. And like what we saw in that game, like Buffalo should, like, the air just completely left that state. I mean, Facino, you were there. Like when that happened, it must have felt like someone took a needle to a balloon. And Josh Allen just let them come right back into the game, throwing three picks. So like, I don't.
Nobody
even
watched the game. People were watching the tent for the entire first quarter. I couldn't tell you what Zach Wilson did in the first quarter. I'm looking at that blue tent.
Yeah,
I think there's three things to consider here. Three things. Week one, anything can happen. Not anything can happen, but you're still kind of finding your footing. And this is all for the sake of Buffalo because I'm a friend of the Mafia. I love the Mafia. They took me in as one of their own all throughout the playoffs last year. Big fan of theirs. It's week one. Still figuring shit out. Whatever, you're getting there. It was a very emotional game on both ends. 9/11, New York. Celebration, remembrance type deal. All that. Number two. You got a lot of drama in the Buffalo locker room, regardless of what they're saying. Stephon Diggs, I don't think he wants to be there anymore, and I really think it's taken a toll because you kind of watch it like he was always the guy. He was always going to be somewhere. He was always going to be open, and Josh was always going to give him the ball. And then even like on Monday night, that wasn't really the case. I don't really know what it was, and he was definitely prevalent in doing his thing, but like something's wrong there. And then number three, just to go back to what you said about who the favorite in the division is, it seems like it's the Dolphins, and I also think that's bullshit because the Dolphins fucking stink. The Dolphins suck, and I'm never going to.
The Dolphins are fraudulent. I don't.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm an asshole because I say this every week, and then whatever, they fucking win. But like,
no, you're not an asshole. Week one, that Dolphins game, week one was the fraud bowl. Whoever won that game was going to give bettors and fans and fantasy players everywhere hope throughout the season, only to have it all tore down week fucking 9 or 10 down the season. Tua is going to get hurt again. Something's going to happen to fucking Tyreek Hill. They don't really have they don't have a running back. They're all like, I don't know. I don't trust the Dolphins. And if you ask me, who, and it pains me to fucking say it if it's not the Bills, and I hope it is the Bills, and hell, I hope it's the Jets too. But who's going to win this division? And he's shaking his head. He knows exactly who I'm going to say right now. It's going to be the goddamn Patriots. It's going to be the Patriots because for whatever reason, they're just going to fucking Belichick's going to Belichick.
Yep. Because you know what the problem is? The AFC East doesn't know how to handle adversity. It's like a high school statement. Can you handle adversity? And it's like the Bills can't, and the Jets certainly can't, and the Dolphins certainly can't either. But it just seems like the Patriots are always prepared. And when Zach Wilson, they got thrown a bone because the way Zach Wilson looks against Bill Belichick defenses is really, really depressing. That it's almost like a guaranteed win for the Patriots. And I hate to say it, but and it's obviously next week. I don't even want to talk about it or think about it. But like one of the biggest things I was looking forward to at least was finally having a quarterback to go up against Bill Belichick. And I was like, we're going to finally just stomp the Patriots out this year. And that's probably the thing I'll miss most about this year is that I won't be able to see Rodgers go up against Belichick.
The time will come.
I want to believe. I want to believe in the Patriots. Not like from a rooting standpoint, just like I guess I honestly do root for Belichick. I love Belichick, but
no.
I know, I get it.
Yeah, I bet you rooted for the Sith in Star Wars too. You fuck.
I don't even know what you're saying. I love Belichick, but like I don't know, man. Like past couple of years, I'm always like, nope, he's gonna figure it out, man. Like he'll be fine without Brady. He's gonna figure it out. He's gonna figure it out. Like I don't know. Like I want to see what happens this week. They have the Dolphins. Like if they don't beat the Dolphins, I don't know, man. Like I 100% like if they come out and they stop on the Dolphins, they shut down that high powered offense, then I'll be like, all right, yeah, Sith Lord's back. I get it, but I don't think so. Like I keep wanting to believe in Belichick and saying he's going to figure it out, but I just don't like. I don't know. I don't know that I see it. And maybe now that I'm saying this, maybe he will figure it out. But like he just that whole organization just looks like they look like I don't know, like I wasn't bullied in high school, but maybe like a big bad bully through all your years of school, and then like you see him out at a bar 2 years later, and you're like, they look like shit.
They graduated high school and they got addicted to
like,
Percocet sitting in the dive bar, and you're home for Thanksgiving, fucking working like a Fortune 500 job, and now you're like, hey man, what's going? And yeah, I know exactly what you're saying.
That's what the Patriots feel like. Like there's this image of what they are, what they should be, and discipline and all those things. And then like you look at the product on the field, and the product on the field is shit. It's not like if I was a Patriots fan, I'd be furious right now. Like it's not up to that. It's not up to their standard. The quarterback play is horrific, right? We're talking about a trade for Kirk Cousins, like with the Jets. I don't know, man. Like if you're New England and you're 500 at the trade deadline, maybe you should be thinking about a trade for a quarterback, right? Because New England is never going to be bad enough that they're going to be in the running for Caleb Williams, right? Like we know that. They're never going to be that bad, but they're never going to be like, I don't think Mac Jones is going to take them anywhere. I'm not throwing this all on Mac Jones, but there's clear deficiencies there, right? There's clear deficiencies in the kid's mobility, his decision-making. And it's not like he's got this rocket arm that like you can't separate yourself from.
Yeah, you know what Mac Jones needed, and I think we're the Patriots, and it wasn't even their like choice. They just had it is what it is. But he would have really benefited sitting behind Brady for a year. I think he's a super smart guy. I think he's not the most athletic dude, so he could pick Brady's brain better than anybody because they play the same type of game. And it sucks for him really more than anything that Brady wanted to get out of there because he was thrown in as a rookie. And I can't help but think like if he had a coordinator and if he had Brady for a year and I'm thankful for it because I don't want the Patriots to be good, but I think they would have locked up another 5 to 10 years.
Maybe all this talk about Shador before, maybe that's a potential Patriot.
I can see that happen. If that happens,
right?
Don't be surprised if you find me in my closet.
Because Shador Sanders, right? Like, there's going to be enough people that Jerry are saying what you're saying. Like, I don't know that he's a NFL because like he's not eligible after this year, right? I think he needs another season, and by then,
he's eligible.
How many did he play? How many did he play? He played 2 at Jackson.
He's 21.
His third season.
That's why Dion made this move because his son was amazing and he knew it and he wanted to get paid and wanted to get him paid.
Get a better coverage. Coverage.
So
he's gonna get like $5 million, Sanders, this year.
Even more like furthering that point, right? Like if he comes out this year, there's no guarantee he will, but if he does come out this year, well, like Caleb Williams is going to be that first quarterback. Drake May is probably going to be that second quarterback. I don't know who number 3 is, but like
Spencer Rattler.
Oh God, no! Oh my God! Oh, Jerry,
he's done a lot. He's made strides.
He will always have that first half against Georgia. That was something to see.
The SEC fucking sucks.
Yes.
They are awful, and Georgia's not three-peating. Like no shot. No shot. I would not be surprised.
Pac-12's year.
What'd you say?
It's the Pac-12's year.
How ironic would that be? I
Right.
think you're going to see a national championship from an ACC or a Pac-12 team.
I hope so.
I don't think we'll see it from the Big Ten. Maybe the Big 12, but I'm biased. I'm a Texas fan. But Texas plays down to their competition too much, and I think they're gonna get caught up at some point.
I think this coming week. Just I'm sorry to talk about the amateurs here, but just to spin back really quick. I think this week we have Ohio State Notre Dame on Saturday. And I think that game's going to be telling who's going to be within that top
Notre Dame is going to rip them a new asshole.
That's what I'm saying. I think that's going to be what you said about the Big Ten before, how they're kind of fraud, like they're not going to be there. I think Notre Dame's going to show that. I think Notre Dame's going to cement their spot in the top four spot. But yeah, let's go back to the NFL here. You want to go into Giants Cardinals?
Yeah, we'll start out Giants Cardinals.
Yeah, that's a quick one.
You want to start it out, Pacino?
Yeah, I mean, if the Cardinals win any games this year, they're stupid. So I'll take the Giants. And plus, the Giants need it. The Giants need it so badly. They need to get that whatever happened last week. They got to get that out of the. They got to get past that. They need to go beat up on a shitty team. Very important for them.
I have a monologue on the Giants, but Jerry, you want to start it off?
Sure. I don't really know too much about the Giants here, I'm going to be honest with you. Like I said last week, I have a lot of friends who are big-time Giant fans, and I respect them. I love the Giants, and both of those Super Bowl runs were special for me from my high school years, and I'll always treasure them, and I'll always support my brothers in blue. That being said, I don't know what's going on there. I know they just paid Daniel Jones, and I know Saquon's playing pissed-off ball here, but, they got to figure it out. That game on last Sunday was just unwatchable. It wasn't fun, especially because it was the fucking Cowboys. That's a game that, I at least want to be competitive because that's a big-time rivalry, or supposedly a big-time rivalry. Sorry to shit all over your Giants, Chris. That being said, I want to see them come out here. I want to see Darren Waller in the mix. I want to see the ball thrown. I think, like you said before, this is a get-right game for the Giants to steer the ship in the right direction, because if they lose, and like you said, Ant, if the Cardinals win this game, they're stupid. They shouldn't really be doing that. It seems like they're making a conscious effort not to tank. We saw it last week against the Commanders. Almost called them the R words. What's it called? But I think the Giants really need to show up here and play this game and beat the wheels off the Cardinals and make them really say, all right, fine, we're just gonna. That's it for us. We're gonna get Caleb Williams and call it a day and focus on next year.
If you're the Giants, right? And I don't say this I'm not rooting for the I have no concern with the Giants as a Lions fan, right? We don't play them this year. They're not in our division. I have no concern with the trajectory of that team. And I'm not saying this like I'm rooting against them, because I am not. But I watched most of that Commanders Cardinals game. I don't think the Cardinals are as bad as advertised. I really, really don't think so.
I
don't think
with
they're
that.
a good team. I don't think that they're a good team. I don't think that they're a team that wins more than 6 games this year. But I also don't think that they're worst team in the NFL. And I can't exactly pinpoint why. I just think collectively, I just don't think that they're that bad, right? Unless the Commanders are also that bad, which there's potential for. But I don't know. If you're a Giants fan and you're telling me oh, we're gonna kick the shit out of them, and this spread's crazy, hammer the Giants, you put up no points last week. You came out on national TV and you shit down your leg, right? And I'm not saying that that's what the Giants are, because they're not. They're way too well coached. They have way too much talent to do that. But to assume that you're going to just walk into Arizona and mollywop them, to me is just is fucking nuts. I hope everything that I'm saying is wrong, because I got a lot of friends that are Giants fans. Chris is one of them. Chris is one of our guys. Chris is saying Texans single-handedly worst team in the NFL. I hope so, because I have the Colts today. But
that's a great pick. That's a great pick.
I know. Now it's down to a pick 'em. So I don't know why everyone's hammering the Texans. Like, what the hell do they
neither do
know?
I. The Colts are going to be sneaky good.
My sneaky prediction for the Texans is that they'll be drafting a quarterback next year.
Oh, you're not a Stroud boy.
No. I'm not a Stroud guy. I'm not an Anthony Richardson guy, and I'm not a Will Levis guy. And it's really amazing that all three of them went to the AFC South to go compete against Trevor Lawrence. It's like all three of those teams panicked. They should have just waited for Caleb.
Yeah, but there's no guarantee that you're right back there to get him. Or that he doesn't look at the situation and be like, you know what, I'm just not going to go in the draft. I'll wait. I'll play another year. Especially with the NIL and guys like that making like $2.9-3 million. Like, fuck it. What do I have to lose? I'm still going to get drafted anyway. I might as well stay in college. You know, but like also the idea that Mike. The idea that I'll just wait for a better situation next year, or like typically if someone's drafting in the top 3, like you're not going to be going
into a bad situation.
Yeah, you're going into a bad situation. So like if you hold out this year, like okay, yeah, but like odds are next year you're going to go to just as bad a situation, maybe worse.
And then you get fucking hurt. And then you get hurt in the year you stayed because you overvalued yourself. Yeah. And it's a gamble, and I understand taking the gamble, but there's always that what if. This is football.
Sometimes it kills. It reminds me of Jake Locker years ago. I think he was with Wisconsin when he was supposed to go like top 5, and then he had a shitty senior year and ended up going to the Texans like late in the first or second round. You remember this?
Yeah, Jake Locker went 1 pick before Blaine Gabbert at 10 to the Titans.
That's what it was.
Terrible draft. And I think J.J. Watt was the pick after both of them, just to really put the salt into the wound.
Wow.
Yep, that's how cookie crumbles. There's some bad teams always have that one player that, like, why did you draft them? How did you draft them? The Jaguars drafted a punter 1 pick before Russell Wilson. And I'm sure that the Lions have the same story with the draft picks.
The Lions have some bad stories with drafts, especially when William Clay was running the team. To close out Giants Arizona, Giants, I'm rooting for you. I think I have you in the in both my CBS pick. I actually don't. No, because I have to pick with the spread. And I think the Giants win this game. They should win this game. I think they will win this game, but I don't think they cover that spread. I really don't. And there's something when you see like a 4.5 point spread there, like, I don't know. It just kind of makes me uneasy. Like for me, the Giants, if we're talking about talent and coaching and comparing that to Arizona and you're on the road, like that to me, that should be, even if you're on the road, I still think that should be like a 6 point spread. Like if we're just talking talent and coaching. Right? Like, why in the world is that started out at what, like 5.5, 4.5, dropped down to 4? I don't know what it's at right now. I don't know. It's just a lot of too much fishy, spreads there, and I don't like it. So once again, I think the Giants win. I think Arizona covers the spread. Moving on to Lions Seahawks. Lions win. Yeah, Lions win season opener.
Hammer him.
Shithawks come out and really didn't look good against the Rams. They let Matthew Stafford pass all over them. Some key injuries. Lions are missing their left tackle. They're missing one of their D tackles, Josh Pascal. And the Seahawks, I think that's all we're rolling with. And then the Seahawks are missing both their left and right tackles. They're missing Jamal Adams again. I think Jamal Adams, they anticipate him. I think they anticipate him like week 5, week 6, somewhere around there. This spread is another one that started at 5.5. I think it opened up 5.5 last Sunday, and right now it's right back to 5.5. So it jumped down to 4.5, and now it's at 5.5. I don't know how I feel about the over/under in this game. I think it's going to be a lot of running, just like week 1. I think the Lions win this game, right?
Yeah,
I think
easily.
I think all those CJ Gardner Johnson telling everybody to come in the blue ski mask. Like, I think the Lions fans are going to be loud. I think they're going to be rowdy. And I think that we have had issues. I mean, even with this regime, right? Like, since Campbell's taken over, he's been here. This is his third year. He's played the Seahawks twice and lost to them twice. And if you remember, like last year, that was the game that really kept them out of the playoffs. They lost that game 48-45 in their own building, most points ever scored in a home building, and still to lose that game. The Lions were the first to do that.
Where is this? Is this in Detroit or
it's
Seattle?
in Detroit? It's in Detroit.
Okay.
I think that there's I'm not going to say like a chip on their shoulder, but like there is a feeling of like, fuck these guys. Fuck these guys. They're the reason we didn't make it to the playoffs last year. Like, we did this to ourselves, but like, and the Lions passed, I don't know. I think it's like they lost 5 straight to the Seahawks now. They haven't beat them since 2012. So I think the Lions fans come out loud. I think Aiden Hutchinson and James Houston and all those boys, John Kaminsky, I think they get in Geno's face. And I think if you could do that early, I think you could shut this team down. I think it's going to be a heavy running game, 100%. I think we'll see a lot more Jahmyr Gibbs this week. Still a lot of David Montgomery. I think between the both of them, and maybe 3 or 4 carries from Craig Reynolds, I legitimately see the Lions try to rush the ball like 35 times today. I genuinely believe that.
The Seahawks, I'm going to say this with my chest 10 out of 10 times here. I don't care what happens throughout the season. I don't care. The Seahawks stink. Geno Smith is Geno Smith. He'll never. I understand he had a great season last year. He got redemption. Good for him. Ant and I know who Geno Smith is at his heart. We know everything. We know not everything about him, but we know what kind of quarterback he is and how he plays.
Well, I think that was kind of the sentiment like last week, where people saw them shit down their leg and they're like, "Oh, is this Geno Smith? Like,
yes.
Is this the guy that we're going to see?"
Everyone last year, and I tell this to each and every person who was like, "Oh no, but Geno Smith's the man. He's doing this, he's doing that." I'm like, "No, he's Geno fucking Smith. He's not good. He's not good. He made us waste a first round.
He's not good.
Whatever year. It's just. He has weapons to throw to, and that's great. Lockett and Metcalf, they're awesome. Don't get me wrong, but the Seahawks, if you ask me, I think the Seahawks are going to be a very middle of the road team, but I think the Lions are actually playing for something here with promise. I think the Lions fucking open up the doors at Ford Field and beat the doors off these guys. I don't think it's going to be close.
I agree. 2-3 touchdowns. They're going to win by 2.
You think by that much?
I don't think the Seahawks have anything special. I think they have they have one edge rusher. They have Tariq Woolen, and they have Geno Smith. And like we said, like Geno Smith threw 30 touchdowns last year. He's got 60 for his career. So he threw 30 touchdowns in 10 years, and then he just had a miraculous season. And I don't know. Maybe people just didn't have him figured out. They forgot what his film looked like, and he had a good year with a good coordinator and great weapons. But I think that story comes to a crashing halt starting today.
Well, I'll tell you right now, that stadium is going to be loud. It is going to be loud. They're going to make it as difficult as possible for the Seahawks to. And I know the Seahawks are used to a loud stadium, but like, this is going to be different. Closed roof. You're going to look out into the stands and just see a sea of like blue ski masks and people going absolutely nuts. And I'm sure I know Seahawks fans do travel like relatively well, and it probably helps that the Washington Huskies were in not Saginaw, in East Lansing to play Michigan State, right? So like you probably have a bunch of fans that flew in for that, but I think it's going to be a very heavy Lions crowd, and it's going to be a very, very difficult environment. I think they're walking into this game like they're going to war. Like they don't want to just beat. Like, I think it's a little personal with the Lions and the Seahawks, and it's not like that the Seahawks didn't do anything wrong. It's just like that was the reason they didn't get into the playoffs. That was the reason, that was what held them back on 2 occasions, right? They lost to them, and then later in the season, the Rams had, that the Packers game, right? So the Rams had lost to the Seahawks basically saying that if the Lions win, that last game, then the Seahawks go in. So, and I think too that like the Lions look back at that and we're like, we're better than them. Like we're better than them in almost every facet, and we let them run. Like we literally didn't stop them once on defense. Like if the Lions made one stop in that game offensively, they win. But they literally let the Seahawks score on every single drive. They didn't have to punt once. Like you can't have that today. Offensively, if you're the Lions, you got to find a way to score more than 14 points, right? They put up 21 last week, but 7 came from the Brian Branch pick 6. That thank you, Kadarius Toney. Like if you're the Lions, you gotta be able to score, right? Like no excuses. You're in your own building, you're in your own environment, score. And if you're this Lions defense, like you showed out on prime time against Pat Mahomes, you better do it today against Geno Smith. You better get in his face. You better mollywop his ass, and you better push him into the fucking turf and murder him.
That's
not
the thing.
Literally.
This game is it's not up or shut up for the Detroit Lions, and they're going to be playing with something to prove here. They're going to come out and take this field at 1:00 to show the world that Thursday night last week was not a fluke. Sure, you won on a little bit of like whatever, it happens. Like maybe you shouldn't have won that game, but you were in that entire game. You played the Super Bowl champions as well as you could have played the Super Bowl champions. And they're going to come out to a much, much, much inferior team with the Seahawks here and beat the fucking doors off them, like I said before. There is no reason why the Detroit Lions shouldn't win this game. I think they're going to come in. They're going to be playing with something to prove. I think it's going to be great it's going to be a great Sunday for you, Pats. It's going to be something worth celebrating, and it's going to be putting the stamp on the Detroit Lions at 2-0 saying, look, be afraid of us. We're here, and we're going to win the fucking NFC North. So, I think this is a very important game against a not so meaningful opponent. And like you said, it's personal. Much like the Packers is always personal. I think like this game, like you said, is the reason why they were kept out of the playoffs last year, plain and simple. So they come in here and they're saying, look, fuck you. It should have been us. You guys had no business being in the playoffs last year. You got blown out in the first round. Fuck you. This is our spot now. And then that's going to be that. Yeah, and like my buddy Frank is saying, you're going to show up to a game looking like that. You better not fucking lose. I'm actually honestly surprised they're allowing people to go, if they allow people to go into the building looking like that, because it's kind of a hazard. You're muted.
Mute monster got me. I don't think you could walk through the gates like through security with it on, but I'm thinking you're going to see a lot of them. All right, so to close out week 1, we're going to get into our bets in just a second. Quick question: what are the Packers? Are they good?
Good. Yes.
Are the Bears?
Yes.
Do the Bears just suck?
That's exactly. You just said it plain and simple. I had a lot of stake riding on the opposite, and I very quickly flipped my stance. I think the Packers are good. I think we're seeing a very textbook sit behind a Hall of Fame quarterback and learn his ways with Jordan Love, because he was fucking slicing and dicing the Bears defense all game last week. And, I know Aaron Jones is probably not going to be playing today, which might be a big factor, but surprising to me, fucking Jordan Love could throw the ball. I didn't think so. I thought he was going to be a dud. Jordan Love looks awesome. So much so that I picked him up with fantasy. Granted that Aaron Rodgers was my starter, so I had to figure it out there. But I picked up Jordan Love, and I have a lot of faith because truth be told, the Packers have a very easy schedule this year. And I think I don't want to say they're going to fucking
they have a very it's easy in the beginning, but as they go on, like they also still have to play the Chiefs. They have to play the rest of the AFC West. Facino, what do you think?
Well, sorry, my is a vacuum.
L-I-double-R.
Oh. Hold on. All right, say it again.
What do we think about the Packers?
Oh yeah, dude. The Bears are so bad. I was saying earlier, like watching bad QB play makes you want to find what is going to make a quarterback great. And it's keep your eyes down the field and move in the pocket. Be fluent in the pocket. Get a feel for the pocket. Don't take sacks. Understand where the blitz is coming from. I don't care if you run a 4.2 40. Justin Fields misses guys wide open. Wide open. He hits his checks downs when he shouldn't be hitting his check downs. Like, a great quarterback knows that if a check down's your third read, but if your first read is what's it called? If your first read is being covered and you could diagnose that the play is cover 3, you don't have to go to your second read. You can go directly to your third or fourth read if you know that that's your outlet to beat a cover 3. And I think that that's where a guy like Justin Fields just can't play quarterback. He can't say, "Oh, I understand the coverage is this because of my first read. Let me just go to that third or fourth read. Let me go there. But what he does is he just runs the ball because he doesn't have that pocket presence. He's not aware in the right way. And I like the Packers. I really do. But it makes me nervous because I don't think the Bears are winning a lot of games. I think the Bears are going to be in the quarterback market next year. I thought they should have drafted a quarterback this year, and they didn't. And they're in this position that they're in because they're neglecting the most important position. I mean, Jared Goff's a quarterback. Justin Fields, Lamar Jackson's a quarterback. Jalen Hurts is a quarterback. Justin Fields is a running back at heart. He doesn't look down the field. So I think that the Packers were thrown a bone last week. And I'll give them the benefit of the doubt because I liked what they do with sitting the quarterbacks for a few years and letting them learn. So I think the Packers will be good, but they're not going to be as good as the Lions.
So
I have hope for them though. I kind of want the Bears to be kind of good. I want the NFC North to be a competitive, division.
yeah,
But I don't know. That was a tough game to watch, man.
what I agree a lot with what you said, Facino. But I think the way you talk about Fields, and I know it's going to sound crazy because the guy has an MVP. But like I see a lot more of that, I think, okay, put it this way. I think that you could make some more excuses for Fields, right? The offensive line's terrible. His wide receivers don't want to play football, right? Like Chase Claypool is a fucking joke out there. That's a disgrace. If I was a Bears fan, I would be livid with Chase Claypool. Livid, okay?
Well, what about DJ Moore, though? They had DJ Moore, who was a stud wide receiver, and he just didn't get action.
Right. The way that you talk about Fields, I see a lot of that in like Lamar Jackson. I really do, man. Like I know it's a cold take. I know that I'm in the minority. Like I really don't see it with this guy. Like he's a running back playing and the excuses I'll give Lamar is that he's never had a true number one to throw to. He's got Mark Andrews and that's it. Like everyone else, like I think Hollywood Brown's there, but like he's never really panned out. I think that there's potential with Justin Fields, but we're never going to see it if you can't block for the guy. We're never going to see it if his receivers are dropping balls into the turf and not blocking. Like part of your job as a receiver is to get in front of the next guy and block, right? Like Calvin Johnson used to talk about it all the time. If I want the ball thrown to me, I better be blocking for the other guys. I better be blocking for the other 10 guys on the other guy on the field that's got the ball when I don't. So that's the one thing that like I would be willing to give Fields a little more time. And the way that you talk about Fields, it reminds me of how I feel about Lamar Jackson. I think he's a running back playing quarterback. I'm sorry.
But Matt, Lamar Jackson wins 80% of his games. Lamar Jackson can throw over the middle of the field and he high points his tight end and he throws over the top. Hollywood Brown made people like hate on Lamar Jackson so much. He dropped like 5 touchdowns and 400 yards of offense one year. And it was like, oh, Lamar, it needs to play better. It's like, no, the receiver needs to catch the ball. And, going back, I'll take Lamar Jackson if I have to win a game over almost everybody except Mahomes. Because he gets the first down. He's efficient. I don't see that with Fields. I don't know.
The only thing I gotta add is big trust. I am a Lamar guy till
Trust, baby.
Will sound it off in the comments and everything.
When I was
Lamar's a
scouting,
lot better than
I
people
scouted
give
for
him
UConn.
credit.
I did scouting for UConn, and 1 year I decided that I was going to scout all the players in college football that year. And I did it for a few years, and I saved my sheets. And I was looking back at it, and I actually had Lamar Jackson as my number one quarterback. And
Really?
you know who the quarterbacks were that year. And going through the whole process, like he's a receiver. It's like, but did you watch like how great he is at quarterback? And I'm so happy for the guy. I want him to win a Super Bowl. I'm biased also, but
Yeah. No, going into that draft, I loved Lamar. I loved him at Louisville. Not that I watched every Louisville game, but like, yeah, Will Hickey here. Brother only watches the ESPN highlights. In college, that's all I watched. I've watched a decent amount of Ravens games. Not as much as I see the rest of the NFC North, but like, yeah, I mean, listen, the success is there, but also understand the two different organizations these guys play for, right? Like Lamar is in a very sound organization. He's been in the league for 5 years, 6 years now.
4 or 5, yeah, something
All right.
like that.
He's played under one head coach. Justin Fields has been here since 2020. Or no, got drafted in 21. He's played under 2 head coaches in 3 years. He's probably going to play. I don't know how many offensive coordinators he's played for. I think if you flip-flop these guys, no, I don't think you'd see the same success, but I also don't think that we're going to see Justin Fields' potential in Chicago if they keep doing this. Like, just collectively, we're never going to see, and I mean, he's just not going to be there that long if they keep losing anyway, but we're never going to see what Justin Fields can actually do until you give him anything. You got to give him something to work with. I mean, the guy's running for his life half the time. He's got an unproven head coach calling plays. So that's where I'm at with him, but I understand that I'm in the minority. I get it.
Will, my response to you is go watch the Jaguars-Ravens game. Watch the condensed version and watch how many times Lamar Jackson puts the ball right in the guy's numbers and Ravens receivers just can't hold on to the ball.
No, I'll give him that. His first playoff game. Was it his first playoff game when they were playing? Were they playing the Browns? His first playoff game or whatever, the first playoff game he played in that he lost. I remember watching that game thinking like nobody could hold on to the ball. No, like they must have dropped. Like I think I remember like 7 or 8 drops, like all for first downs. So I will give you that. All right. Bets of the week. What do we like today? What do we not like? Facino, you want to start us off? You have anything written down for this week?
Yes. All right. 2 games. I only go money lines. I don't like spreads because I feel like you overthink the spread. I like the Chargers by a lot, and I love the Rams. So, when you're looking at a team like the Rams, everyone was thinking, oh, they're going to be bad this year. But then they have one of the greatest coaches in the league. A guy that can game plan.
Rams money line versus San Francisco.
They're at home, and it's any given Sunday, man. I mean, we were talking about the Browns last week, and the Browns made the Bengals look like a college team. And I think that sometimes when you got a guy like Aaron Donald, you got a decent secondary. People have been talking about how you aren't that team anymore, how you guys are on the way down. The 49ers are on the way up. Well, you know what? Can Aaron Donald get after Brock Purdy? Because I want to see what happens when Brock Purdy's under pressure. Because it seems like he's always generating from a clean pocket. Seems like they get the running game going. All right, let's see. Go run on Aaron Donald. Try to run the ball up the middle, and then try to go off a play action. See what happens. I'm very intrigued by this matchup, and it's a divisional game too. So, give me the home team.
So you got the Rams money line, and what was your other one? Baltimore
and the Chargers.
Chargers.
Not necessarily an upset, but
That's a ballsy fucking pick, dude. God bless you. I don't have a lot of faith in the Rams this year, but you go with your heart.
Well, they have the quarterback, and they have some good pieces. So who knows?
That's a big time upset. We'll see what happens.
What do you have, Jerry?
So I was just crunching some numbers here. There is free plus money on the board, and I think the Packers fucking stick it to the Falcons. And I don't know if Cliff is in this chat or watching the stream right now, but I'm sorry and I apologize. But I think the Packers stick it to the Falcons so much so I almost took them reverse spread -2.5.
Okay.
I didn't though because there's no money. Stick with the money. It's a matter of sense there. I'm playing small ball today because I don't have a lot left in my account, but it's a matter of sense. So just stick with the money line. I like the Packers money line, and I'm not gonna play. You know what? If I win, depending on what we decide to do here with our sunny days parlay, and I walk out of if I walk out of the 1 o'clock slate with money in my pocket, fucking tack on Jets plus 8.5 right there. Honestly, maybe if you want to buy it up 2 points to 10.5 just for insurance, do it. I might fuck around and take a money line because fuck the Cowboys, but we'll see. But my lock of the week is going to be the Green Bay Packers money line.
I like Jets at 8.5. I like that a lot.
Also, sorry. Free money with the Colts as well. I think the Colts are going to run. You can honestly probably buy that one down to 2.5, -2.5 for the Colts' favorite. I think the Colts beat the shit out of the Texans.
Yeah, I just wonder why that line keeps moving. Like that's just the one thing I want to know. The Colts opened up, I think, at 2, and it's now a pick 'em.
The Colts opened up at +2
or 1.5.
Or 1.5. Tunsil's out, so Tunsil probably moved that line a lot. I don't know if that makes sense, but
Laramie Tunsil's on the Colts.
He's in the Texans.
Yeah.
Yeah. So more so, why would the money go back to the Texans? That's what I'm trying to say.
It went the other way.
Yeah.
Oh, that doesn't make any sense.
The
That
Colts.
actually makes
Oh
no
no.
sense.
Oh, you know what? Wait a minute. Let me look into this. That would make sense. Where did it open up? Okay, I'm a moron. So that makes plenty of sense. Casino, I am so stupid. So it opened up at Colts -2. It opened up at Colts -2, and it's currently a pick 'em. So that would make sense. Laramie Tunsil's out. All right, Jerry, you have any other locks? Not locks, but any other bets that you like?
Packers money line, Colts -2.5. Buy that shit down.
All right, so I have a couple things written down. I have Buck spread -2.5. I have Baltimore money line. I'm on the other side of you, Facino. I got San Francisco -7. I also wrote here in my awful handwriting, don't sleep on Arizona. And then I have Jets money line. Four of
Jets
these,
money line.
Four of these have question marks next to them. Facino, I swear to God, you look just like Robert De Niro right there when you said Jets money line. That is so funny.
I love it, man.
You like Jets money line?
You know, I really do because I think they were in limbo, but then Rodgers had the surgery so quick, and then he went on the McAfee show, and I feel like after that whole thing went down, they could finally sit down and focus. And I think that they're going to dedicate the season to the guy. They're going to dedicate this game to him. Everything's going to be dedicated to Aaron. So I think that they're going to come out flying. Like, if Zach Wilson will be the reason they lose this game, no other player. Let's go.
If I didn't take such an ass beating yesterday on Colorado, I would probably hammer Jets money line.
I'm in. If I win my 1 o'clock 2 pick, I'm in.
Oh, it's true. That's a 4 o'clock game. All right. If I had to pick one thing that I think is a lock, I'm in between. I really want to say San Francisco. But I think what I like the most, I also really like Baltimore money line. These three really stick out to me. Bucks spread because I think the Bears suck. Like, I don't think the Bucks are good, but the Bears fucking suck. And I think 2.5, I think the Bucks could beat them by more than a field goal. I genuinely believe that. But I also get a little worried about what I saw last week with Cincinnati. Like, Joe Burrow didn't look good. That whole team didn't look good. They're going to wake up eventually, right? Cincinnati's a a very good team. They should wake up, but do they wake up today? And with Baltimore as the underdog, like I like that. I like that a lot, right? We were just talking about Lamar Jackson. Either one, Buck spread. I guess if I have to give out a lock, I'll say Buck spread. But you could very easily sway me to Baltimore money line.
Guess what that spread is? Guess what that spread is?
Where?
+3. What did I say last week? With the exception of Steelers fucking Niners, because I ate that one hard. That +3, man. The Packers are +3. I think that's going to be that's a telltale sign. And I think Baltimore money line is honestly a safe pick. I'm not betting against them because who dey? But you know.
What do you think of Baltimore today? What do you think of Baltimore today, Facino? They win this?
Give me Baltimore, bro. Dude. I'll never bet against Lamar Jackson.
Okay.
Right. He's a winner. And you know what? Winners win. I know Burrow's a winner too, but I'm sure Lamar Jackson has a winning record against them. He has a winning record against everybody.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Not for nothing. The people forget the easiest way to win a football game is to run for 5 yards every play. If you run for 5 yards every play, you win. And that's like what the Ravens mastered. And I love it. I love to see it because everybody wants to sit back and throw the football, and that's pretty and it's cool. That's great. But I love the way that you could win a football game in another manner. Like, how can you control time of possession, mitigate turnovers, keep your defense fresh on the sidelines? And that's by running the football. So I think that's why the Ravens have had this sustained success, from even our childhood, from Jamal Lewis when we were 5 years old, rushing for 2,000 yards, Super Bowl. Ray Rice, guy was phenomenal. They won the Super Bowl. And you see it coming back this year. I was so excited for Dobbins, but I'll take it with the quarterback. They have a great running game, and that's the recipe to win in this league.
So, wait, Pat, before you go, I was actually talking to one of our number one commenters here this morning about this, Will Hickey. And this is what he said to me. Will, I'm sorry for breaking the trust tree and reading your text messages, but too bad. Daniel, I was saying how I don't know. He said, Daniel, I know that seems easy to do, but just remember, the Ravens pass rush looks great, and Burrow has a hurt leg and no O-line. Burrow's still recovering, and there's going to be a lot of questions around that. The Nigerian nightmares, Odafe and Ojabo will take care of business, and then we just started talking about the run games where he thinks that Gus Bus is going to be taking over the majority of snaps. But as my friend Will knows, for many, many years now, I am, much like the Bills Mafia, a friend of the Ravens lock. I'm in the trust tree. I love this team. I will always be rooting for this team, but I also drank the Burrow Kool-Aid. So I'm watching as a fan here. I hope for the best. I just hope it's a good game.
Well, you both convinced me because while you were doing that, I placed a $100 wager on Ravens money line. So that's my lock of the day.
Bad man.
That's my lock of the day. We got to come back. I'm dying over here. I am dying. Deion Sanders ripped my soul out last night, not covering that spread. Okay. I need the comeback. So that's my lock of the day. Jerry, what's your lock?
I have a 2-pick lock. I'm sorry.
Right, but you got to narrow it down to one.
Are we doing the thing again? We're going to
do it. We're going to do the thing. Okay. Do the thing again.
I will preface this with, I will not be playing the Sunny Days parlay this week, just because I do not like. Not that I don't like that Ravens pick, but I don't know. My pick for the Sunny Days parlay is Packers money line.
Packers money line. Okay, well then I won't be playing it either. Facino.
My lock of the day. They counted them out. They told us we were done. But you can't kill somebody that's already dead, baby. You cannot kill the inevitable.
Put it on.
J-E-T-S. Jets. It actually is a replica.
Does it fit you?
Doesn't go on.
Oh,
but I'm so excited for this team, man. They have a great defense. Before the season started, I thought the Jets had the best defense in the NFL. They got a great line. They're going to generate pressure for all 4 quarters. They're so deep. They have one of the best secondaries. They have an incredibly smart middle linebacker in C.J. Mosley that helps one of the most athletic and hardest hitting linebackers next to him, Quincy Williams. All they have to do is run the ball and control time of possession. And they can beat not only the Cowboys or the Bills, they could beat the Chiefs, they could beat the Eagles, they could beat the Dolphins. They could beat any team in the NFL with the roster that they have as long as they fucking take care of the football. So I think that starts this week. I think Zach Wilson takes care of the football. I think the game plan is going to be – I think they're going to come out with a great scheme. And I think that the Cowboys are the Cowboys, just like the Jets are the Jets. I haven't seen the Cowboys succeed in my lifetime. So give me the Jets, 24-13. Give me them by 11. What are they, +9? I'm thinking they're going to win by 11.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Honestly, that being said, I might be sold. I might be splitting my picks and like put $1 on the Sunday parlay just because it's kind of tasty. It's all plus money. It's all dogs.
A little sprinkle for old Jerry.
A little sprinkle. I kind of love it. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of love it. Dollar wins fucking $24. Why not? Why not?
Dollar make me holler.
I called my dad after the game. I'm driving home on Monday night, and it was the best Jet game I've been to. I go to every Jet game. It was magical. Like, it was devastating at first, yeah, but I've never seen a team rally like that. I couldn't tell you the last time the Jets were down by 10 and they came back and won. You never see that. And I call my dad on the way home, and he's like, "You got to stop going to the games." He's like, "I think you're the curse." Apparently, the first game I ever went to was the game Vinny Testaverde blew out his Achilles.
Are you serious?
So with that, I'm embracing it. I'm wearing it. And I think that I went to church. I even went to church, guys. I asked for forgiveness because I don't know what I did, but I'm sorry. I really am, because we don't deserve this.
We're gonna be fine. There's nothing to worry about.
Not a single worry.
All right, boys. We got what we needed?
Think so.
All right. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. We'll see you Thursday night and every Sunday, rest of the season. Thanks for tuning in, everyone.
Get the fuck up. Let's go.
Yeah.